Everybody, welcome back to Wild Black. We didn't even say that.
Hey, we didn't. Welcome back, party people. We in the building.
I guess we have started. I didn't even know we were really starting.
I think it just kicked off.
Yeah,
it just kind of jumped right into it.
We here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Normally I have something amazing to say up front. So let me take a second. You getting this real time? I got it. Have you ever thought about changing your life? Have you ever thought about, damn, I don't want to do this goddamn job no more?
Boy.
I don't know how many of you all have thought it. I think it.
Everybody.
Well, I don't think it right now. Technically, I ain't got no job right now. Technically.
But you working more than what you've ever worked before.
Right. Yeah. Right. Technically, I am unemployed right now.
Define job.
I guess if I define job, I got a couple of months.
See? Right. It might be 4 or 5.
Yeah, I got a couple of months. Well, I think about it this way. I don't know how many times I have gotten up in the morning and put my feet on the floor or gone in to take a shower, and you're fighting this feeling from the inside that says something doesn't align. Something's not matching up. I am not in the right space. I'm not going to the right place. There's something that is off inside of me. I don't know how many times I've thought that. It's a bunch, and I can only assume that everyone listening has thought that as well. Mm-hmm. Today's episode is not necessarily the answer to that, but it's definitely a step in the right direction if this is for you. Right? There's this thing that we've seen kind of rise in the last several years, the idea of an independent creator or an influencer. And I think there are also a lot of myths that have arisen as well. Myths like anybody can do it. And whereas I think that probably is true, I don't think it's that easy. I think anyone can do anything, but it's, can you do it well? Can you monetize it? Can you make a living off of this thing? Now, you've heard me talk about passion before, and I truly believe that the goal for each of us is to find ourselves standing at the intersection of passion, purpose, and paycheck. And that's today's conversation. There are a lot of us who understand our passion and understand our purpose and love our paycheck, but they don't align. Mm. Today's episode is about making them align. It may or may not be for you, right? I'm sure you've seen people on Instagram and YouTube, and you've seen the videos about how to make $1 million and how to change your life, and you've probably watched some and discredited others. But what we're talking about today is the fact that that is a road that is possible. But is it easy? Is it right for you? Do you have what it takes? Shit, I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot myself, especially since I'm not working a full-time job, quote-unquote job, anymore. So what we're doing today is we're having a conversation with a woman named Ashley Dixon. And Ashley has stepped away from corporate America. She has built herself into a full-time creator and influencer on social media, is building brand partnerships and making real money, sustaining herself and her family. And she's going to talk to us today about how she did it. Again, maybe this is for you, maybe it is not, but I think the conversation will be amazing because we create this idea that becoming an influencer or a creator is something that's different and unique. And I think at the end of the day, it is about starting your own business, putting your effort and your energy into it, and following all the steps that you see for yourself to establish and build a credible brand for yourself. That is what this is about. And I cannot wait to have this conversation today because I got a bunch of questions. Some of them are selfish because Lord knows I don't think I want to go back into corporate America ever. And I really don't plan to. Don't tell my wife. But I have said enough. I have rambled enough because I didn't know what the fuck I was going to say today. But I think we made it through. Ashley, welcome to Wild Black.
Thank you. That was great. For you not to have that, it's not written down or nothing?
I had no fucking idea what I was
Off the top of the dome.
Wow. And the introduction, I love it. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Listen, I already told them what we're here to talk about, but take a second and tell them who you are. Like flex on the audience. This is the place to do it. We love it because everyone's going to go look you up, and it's going to start this conversation about, shit, she did it, I can do it. She know better than me. And, that may or may not be true, but I want people to walk out of here with the information that says this is how you do it or this is how you did it, and I want them to be inspired to go do it themselves. Tell us more about who you are, what you've done.
Okay. So flex. And that is like the opposite from what I try to do on a regular basis, but I'll try to do it in a way that still makes sense.
Channel them boots.
Yes.
The boots.
The boots.
I'm feeling the boots, but they're comfortable, so we can do a little bit of both. We can be cute and comfortable. So my name is Ashley Dixon. I started Alexander Renee Design, which was an interior design only hobby on Instagram, and it grew into a 6-figure business in a year and a half.
Let me hold something. That's the blackest thing you can. Let me hold something.
But right. You get $1. I mean, I'll take $1.
Amen.
But what you said about bridging passion, purpose, and paycheck, that's something I definitely fell into. So I don't want to act like this was always the goal. It was focusing on the passion and the purpose aspect of it. The influencer, quote unquote, I don't really love that title, but I focus more on content creator because I create content for others to consume, hopefully either be inspired or receive education behind it. And everything else that comes as a result of that is just kind of icing on the cake. I focus on home decor, DIY, organization, cleaning, pretty much anything inside the house. When I was stuck in the house during COVID, what are we doing? We're cleaning, we're decluttering. We feel like rooms are ugly or we never finish them. We got a pile of stuff in the corner, and now it irritates you because instead of being gone 8 to 10 hours a day, now you're home, you're staring at it.
All day.
So fixing those things for myself and helping other people understand how to fix them as well. Started doing that on Instagram, went over to TikTok, learned TikTok is not just for dancing because your girl can't dance, so we're not doing that. But going on TikTok, there's really an educational value there. TikTok is like one of the largest search engines now behind Google. You're going to TikTok for information, and I love that, and I love being a part of that space and taking that online, then speaking about being however old you are and being able to do that. I was in the, dang, I don't really want to do this work anymore. I don't want to do my job anymore for 35 years. 35 years. And then woke up and said, can I do something different? Realizing I can make money from being online because I feel like everybody's scamming. Everybody's selling something. And because of that, when people are like, oh, I had a 6-figure this, I had 6-figure that, it's hard. It's hard to navigate through the noise to see what's real and what's not. And the only reason I share is definitely not to flex, but so that people who are in the same area, same space, mind space that I was can know that they can do it too. And it is possible. It is not easy. You see the pictures and you see the upfront part of it, but behind the scenes, there's tears, there's self-doubt, there's comparison, there's all of those things. But I'm on a journey and I just want to take everyone along with me and take what's for you and leave everything else behind.
I love that. I love that. You said a couple things. We're going to jump into our wild black shit in a second, but you said a couple things, right? It is not easy. People see what you put on Instagram, but that's curated to a point, right? That's the pretty face that doesn't show necessarily the pain and the anguish, the worry, the stress that went into the creation of it. I was in one of those months last night. I mean, I've got a couple projects going, and one of them is going off the rails, and I went to bed thinking about it. I woke up thinking about it, and there's no one to solve it.
Nobody's coming.
But me.
Nobody's coming.
Nobody is coming. All right. So, listeners, y'all ready? All right, you ready?
Always.
Hit them with this wild black shit, brother.
Let's do it. All right. So, wild black shit. 3 questions.
3 questions.
2 questions. Kind of get you warmed up, but you already warmed up. So this is going to be easy. They're going to be like softballs.
I'm nervous. I'm like, wait, what's coming? What's happening?
It's like the nerves kick
right. Like, all of a sudden. Oh, yes. And then the third question is our signature question we ask every single guest.
Okay.
You ready?
I am.
First question. Think back to when you were 16 years old.
Okay.
So we're going back. Boom. What black hairstyle did you have that was your favorite?
Listen, the hard, crunchy wrap that you use the gel, you get it all the way around. It had the perfect circle. It's a dome. And then you comb it down and it's buttery soft and it's just hidden.
Yeah.
The best.
That was you?
That was it.
What are the pictures?
All day. Man, that's in the archives for real.
You got to post one now.
Now,
you got to
want to talk about growth? Style, everything. We done grew up, okay? We done found ourselves. It didn't happen until college.
Okay,
because high school, 16-year-old me had a lot going on.
I feel you.
But my rap was on point, though.
It did.
My rap was on point. The Lotta Body, that's what I was thinking about. That's what it's called. It's this purple. Body? You have the Lotta Body.
I remember that.
You put it in with the water. You have the spray, and you have to get your wrap trained. Once it's there,
it's done.
And we don't even do it anymore. Now it's just like silk press this and that. No, you need to sit up under the dryer. Your ears burning.
Mm-hmm.
But your rap is fire the next day at school. Definitely. Definitely a rap.
You answered that way too quick. She didn't have to think about that. She was like,
I'm also feeling attacked because I ain't got no hair. I'm feeling attacked right now.
Look, you remember your 16-year-old dude?
I do. I had the high top. That's a high top.
You had a high top fade?
My shit was fucking immaculate too, bro.
Hey, bro, I had a box. My shit was...
Was it like perfectly manicured, like on side?
Did you have the part though?
Yeah. No, I ain't have a part.
I had the part.
In the front, a little.
You know it.
That was the cool. You was a cool dude.
Yeah,
my shit was just very symmetrical. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was right. Well, cool. Second question. We're gonna move into jewelry. So, Black people, we love jewelry.
We do.
Like we rock
a lot of jewelry right
everything. If you could say what's the most popular piece of Black jewelry in the 21st century, and I ain't even gonna give you like the options.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get your thoughts on that for Black people.
Most iconic.
Mm-hmm.
I know my answer right now.
Door knocker earrings, like big, like hoops earrings.
Yep.
Where now, I had some that had my name on it, so they like said Ashley on the side. I thought it was real cute. So, we've taken away the name, but you still do the big earrings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's around and everybody has made it this trend, but it's timeless. It's like everlasting. Like if you don't have on a lot of jewelry.
Yeah.
It's everything now.
Yeah,
I love it.
And it's still dope. And I still like the joints with the name in them. I think that's the cutest shit ever.
It is.
Would you rather?
But they bringing it back, too.
No. For women.
Let us be clear.
Yeah. Right, let's draw the line.
His face was instant concern.
No.
If I saw a dude with that, I'd be like, no, you don't do that.
The nameplate necklace. That was it. Everything.
Delicious.
It's not monogram, but it was just like you didn't know your own name. You just had to, in case you were wondering, Ashley was here. Yep. I had a ring too. I'm not even gonna. ARD. Yep. We did all, in case I ever forgot my name, it was everywhere.
Bro, did you slide over the questions beforehand?
She killing them, ain't
Yeah,
she?
she is.
Okay.
You couldn't because we ain't have them till an hour.
Look, right.
We made these up.
Right.
2 seconds ago.
And we is not me at all.
Not you.
I sent him a text, Brian got nothing.
I'll be honest. It's all you today.
I ain't got nothing, bro.
I love it. All right, third question. What do you love most about life while Black?
Black people are magic. And I love that. And I love giving that and that pride and that sense of self to my kids. I think that's really important. That from hair, explaining to my daughter, like, your hair can be straight, it can be curly, it can be in braids. Like, you can do all of these things. The water touches it. It's magic. It's not a bad thing. It's magic. It literally can curl up from just a drop of water. The resilience that we have, all of the stuff that we go through on a regular basis, 400 years ago to today, still some of the same stuff. We have this resilience about us that literally makes us magic. And there's nothing that anybody can do to break us. And I just love that for us.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Beautiful.
Yeah. As you were saying it, I was like, that is such a ad right there. Like, that is something that everybody needs to...
Did you cheat?
I think she didn't listen to Wild Black.
She didn't
listen to Wild Black. She
that was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's true, though. We are magic. And I'm in awe. If I was not Black, I would want to be Black. Because I'd be like, dang, y'all go through so much. You see the trauma on TV. You see culture vultures. You see all of these things happening. But we're still standing. We're still here. We innovate. We're trendsetters. Just all of the things we do. It's just magical. There's no other word to describe it besides magic.
You got me want to go outside, stand in the sun, and get a little dark on.
Right.
Melanin.
Just come back.
Yeah. Come back juicy.
It's funny, man. If you think about every guest that we've had, and if you weave the answers together in like a timeline,
that's a hell of an idea.
Ended it with magic, it would absolutely make perfect sense.
I love that.
That's gonna be a promo. I'm gonna do that. I like that idea. I like that idea.
Magic.
I gotta slow down today because I can't. My lips ain't even working right today. I don't even feel right. My lips ain't even working. I don't know what's going on. I feel like they're getting I don't have super big lips, but I feel like they're getting in the way.
They're getting in the way. That means you got a lot of thoughts on your mind right now.
I'm scattered as fuck. Right
yeah,
now.
that's what that means. That's what that means.
Do you curse? I'm sorry.
I do.
Okay, we cool then. We cool. We try. If our guest doesn't curse, we try to pull it back in.
I don't a lot, but I do.
Well, I got you today, cuz.
I can do it enough for both of us.
I got it covered. All right, we're gonna jump into our dope quote. Our dope quote is something from religion, science, philosophy, entertainment, math, history. It pertains to the episode, and it typically comes from the mouth of someone Black. Today does. I'm going to read it, and then I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
I had to make my own living and my own opportunity, but I made it. Don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get Up and Make Them by Madam C.J. Walker. When you hear that, what comes to mind for you?
I love that. That's everything that I stand on, that you cannot wait for when I feel like, when I get this, when I can do this to make things happen.
Yeah.
You have to lean into the fear. Recognize that you have fear for doing something new. Or even if it's something, wondering if you're going to be the best at it, but you lean into that fear and you keep going. And if you do fail, you treat it as a learning experience and you keep going. And I think that's the biggest part of it is creating the life you want requires action in doing something. Because you can wish all day, but you're going to be in the exact same spot unless you take action. I love that.
You can't prepare this shit today. You ready?
I need that.
Yeah.
I need the quote.
I got you.
I love sharing like quotes in my stories, so I'm going to need that one.
I got you.
That's
I got you. All right, so we're going to jump into like the core of the episode. But listeners, before we do, what I want you to consider as we step into this conversation is the importance of what we're going to talk about. I know that there are probably some of you who are going to think to yourselves, creators, influencers. I know, Ashley, you don't subscribe to that word. We'll talk about that. But there is a significantly, told you my lips ain't working, important role they play in today's ecosystem. Each one of us spends probably way too much time on social media.
Yep.
But I want you to consider, without people like Ashley today, social media would not exist in the way it does that you enjoy. As you scroll through TikTok and Instagram and Pinterest and YouTube, each of the pieces of content, or in some cases the ads that you stop on and engage with, are created 9 times out of 10 by a creator. Some of them are brands, but the vast majority are people just like Ashley. And let me explain that further. People just like you. There is space and opportunity for you to move into this area and to create sustainability for yourself, new income for yourself, new areas of expansion for yourself. And I say that with seriousness because the opportunity is truly there and there is space for you. Ashley and I were talking before the cameras came on just about Wild Black and the fact that when Art and I started this 4 years ago, we walked in and said, we're going to do 5 episodes. What did 5 we said?
Yeah, we're going to try it out with 5.
Yeah, and here we are. I think this might be maybe episode 200 released, and we've got more in the bank. Yeah. And we're doing it because we created something and you responded to it. You showed us that there was a space and a need for this type of information. And there are other spaces, some tapped and some untapped, that you can fill and you can profit from. You can remove that feeling in your gut when you get up in the morning and you dread driving to work or hopping on to a Zoom meeting. Or for myself, that fucking Slack notification would create anxiety in my chest every time I heard it. I hate Slack real quickly. Fuck you. Other than that.
Respectfully.
Right.
At least change the date.
All right, all
pro tip.
Right. All right, I'm gonna shut up. I'm doing too much preaching. Ashley, you started with not subscribing to the idea of an influencer and leaning more toward content creator. Break down the differences from your perspective and why you feel that way.
For me, a content creator is someone who is creating content, whether it's videos, pictures, curating around a certain topic. For me, that's home decor, that's DIY, that's organizing. An influencer, their job is to sell, to push something on someone else, to influence them, and their success comes from getting someone else to buy that. I don't do that.
Yeah, gotcha.
I don't do that. I do offer products and services and I will show them in a way like, hey, this is how I use it. This is how I spend my money. These are the things I'm doing. Hey, did you know about this?
Gotcha.
What you do with that information is up to you. I'm not trying to convince someone either way. Sometimes I will say, oh, hey, make sure you go here. It's cheaper. Brands probably actually don't like that. So I don't know. I don't know if I should do that. But I do in the sense of if wouldn't spend my money on it, if I wouldn't waste my time on it, if I wouldn't waste my energy on it or use any of these things, I don't want someone else to do it. I treat everybody like they're my best friend. If my mom's gonna go buy that scrub brush, I don't want it to break after 2 uses. I can't stand behind something that does not work well. I've sent things back to be like, nah, this is not for me. I don't know what y'all doing, but it's not for me, and I'm not gonna share that because I value people's time and money. We work hard for our money. So I think there's a nuance. And it's not the term itself. You can call yourself an influencer. Many people do.
It's the intent behind that.
It's the intent.
Yeah.
Are you pushing brands and products and ads and competing products? Like, okay, well, which one are you using? You have 2 wetbacks? We're using 2 of these? Really? Because a normal person is not going to. Now, yes, I personally own 2 so that I could show people the difference between them.
Right.
And hey, if you have pets, let's use this one over here. Or if you want something that's lighter, easier to use, you don't have to use a special solution, here's this over here.
Right.
But having that open conversation, I think, is important. And if you're going on social media to make money, when people sign up to say, I want to be an influencer, you're not going to be successful because you're chasing dollars instead of what value do I have to provide to people. I want to create and curate an experience, whether that's a tip and there's nothing being sold behind it, whether you buy the product or not. I want you to have information walking away from my page where you either feel educated or you feel inspired. So for me, content creator is a better term.
I like that. Like, it made me think, I won't say their name, but you remember that company who reached out to us? They had the, like a supplement drink or...
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that shit was terrible.
That shit was a disaster.
And now every time I hear an ad, I'm thinking, they just after the money.
And you just rolling your eyes. And you're like, it's nasty. It doesn't work. But who would I be as a person to go online and be like, God, okay, I would never drink this. I'm never going to drink this. But I'm going to sell it to you.
Right.
When you could be working harder for your money. That could be your last.
Yourself.
Yes.
And then you're putting faith in me that I tried something. And now you order, you spend your money on it. And then you're like, wow, this doesn't work. How are you going to come back to me?
Yeah.
If your best friend constantly was lying to you over and over again, you can be like, all right, I'm good on you. I'm good on you.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, look, y'all, this is what I use. This is what I do. Whether you do it or not, you at least know it's out there. A laundry service, they didn't even pay me. I was like, look, I'm pushing this because I wish I had this 2 years ago when I'm trying to fold laundry and working full time and doing content creation. I wish I had somebody to fold the clothes, wash the clothes. So you don't even have to pay me. Look, y'all, if you have $20 a week, and I understand not everybody does, but if you have $20 a week, spend it here. You're saving so much time. Like, do this. That's the value.
Because I just used one, and it was like Jesus had walked in the room with his hands out. Like,
Absolutely. Sudshare.
That's
listen.
The one. When they dropped the bag
like
off
Uber
on my
Eats,
step, I was like,
but I wanted this lady. Her tip was bigger than my amount for the laundry because I said, I'm sorry. You washed it, you folded it, it smells good. You sorted it by kid, an adult. The socks are all together, folded the same way I do. She asked like how I wanted the socks to be sorted.
Yeah.
I said, ma'am.
And they stay texting back and forth.
Yes, like, hey, we're going to drop this off. Sudshare.
Yo.
Sunshare?
Sud, like suds.
I did it for like a month ago.
Listen.
Okay.
Every single week.
I feel you on that. Like time, oh my God.
It helped me.
And you get to a
the
certain
customer
place.
service was dope.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Amazing. They put little pink bows, so I know this bag is for my daughter, the blue. And I know, like, you could get a bad person, but when I tell you, Jessie, wherever she is, I'm like, Jessie, I don't know where you are, but Jessie is my person. When she is available on that app.
Jessie, we love you.
Jessie saves lives, reduces anxiety, and she is a freaking superhero. I never see her when she comes up, but...
Jessie sounds like you got that prescription, don't you? Take Jessie twice.
Get you some Jessie, okay?
Every week you need Jessie.
But it's stuff like that it actually was another influencer that was like, hey, I use this. And I was like, I never heard of it. Let me try it out. And then once I did, I said, y'all, we need to do this. And people are like, wow, I'm in school full time and I'm having to take my kids and I'm having to do all these things and you're saving me time.
Yeah.
You're trading time for money to a certain extent, but sometimes it's worth it if you can spring it.
Yep.
And that's the type of impact. That's the type of products and services that I am willing to share.
Yeah.
Everything else that doesn't fall in line with that, like the little supplement drinks and workout teas. I'm like, first of all, I don't even work out. So you can't ask me to sit here and push something.
Orange juice,
everybody.
Orange juice.
I'm like, first of all, my people know me. And they be like, you're doing what now? You just told us you can't do 10 crunches, but now we're a fitness person. No.
Yeah.
And it's that authenticity. Be like, nah, that ain't for me.
I think that's part of what has created like this perception of this emerging industry, because I think truly a lot of people just don't know who they can trust, right? And they build these relationships. Like we have people who have relationships with us. You have people who have relationships with you, and they come to trust us. Like even that Sud Share conversation, I'm willing to guarantee that the vast majority of our listeners will understand that was just an authentic moment. That was not a paid ad. Sud Share didn't drop anything. We found a place of connection between you and I experiencing that and the convenience that it got. And it was not a paid spot. It was just conversation.
And that, to me, is the beauty of social media. That's what people should be getting out of it.
Yeah.
Inspiration and education. Take what's good, leave everything else behind.
Yeah.
Not the just pushing things at people, pushing a lifestyle that you can't even actually attain or maintain. All of that needs to be left behind. So I do curate my feed, but in stories, y'all gonna show up raggedy with me, okay?
Yeah.
I have not combed my hair today, and I'm not about to. I don't have time. I literally don't have time to grab a brush. We're gonna be raggedy all day long. I'm wearing these slippers down to the bus stop to go pick my kids up. Can't find my travel mug, so we're taking a full coffee cup. I spilled it on myself. This is where we are, friends. We're starting the morning together. Let's go. Because you have to be yourself and to know, okay, yes, you have this beautiful house, but look at how these kids just messed it up. After the cleaning ladies came 30 minutes ago, they've been home for 10 minutes. And there's already just toys, Legos, everything on the floor. That's real life. So that you don't have that anxiety of, oh my God, I don't know how she does it all. I do not do it all.
Yeah, FYI, Legos were sent here from the future to destroy us, man. You fuck around stepping on a Lego.
You step on a Lego, you feel it in your soul.
That's real. Yeah. That shit is painful.
And it's usually at night.
Ain't it?
You can't see it. And it's a little one. That corner.
Like a fucking knife.
That shit is awful.
Man.
All right, look, so listeners, we're going to talk about everything. And I know the first thought in most people's minds, and I want to go here and then back into the how, is the money, right? Everyone listening is going to wonder to themselves. We've all heard, the Kim Kardashian with millions of followers and X amount of dollars per post. But for the everyday person who's building a business inside of the content creation space, what does the money look like?
It varies. It ranges. It depends on you. It depends on you knowing your worth and you knowing what else is around you. There are people who are willing to talk about how much money they make, and I'm one of them, not from a flex standpoint, but other people around me can elevate.
Reality.
It's like, well, what are you charging? No. You need to come up. The first dollar that I was paid, it was $500, and I will say today, and I tell people all the time, like, I sold my soul for $500. I did everything under the moon that now I'll never work with that brand again because it's a six-figure deal now.
And you know it now.
And it's like, well, I paid you $500 for this. Why would I give you, $20,000? But that's what it would cost. So we'll never work together again. Yeah. But it was a learning experience. And I think it's also knowing that you have to start somewhere. So for 2 years, Alexander Renee Design was a hobby on Instagram. I funded it myself. I spent all of my own money. I got some free things and then was negative because then I'm spending money to make them look good when Instagram was focusing on pictures. So you got to get fresh flowers and new pillows, and everything was about keeping up and pushing new decor, not reusing the things that you have, and trying to chase that was really hard for me. And I got to a place where I said, I don't want people to feel like they have to buy something new every time they want to decorate. Let's go ahead and DIY. Let's do these things. But we went from $500 to last year, I made $500,000. And this month, I made $100,000. So it literally ranges. But a lot of that was learning myself, learning what I do, and then also expertise. I went from shooting on the iPhone to a camera. So I'm a professional. I'm an expert now. So you're going to pay me photographer, videographer prices. Yeah. And there is a range, but I think knowing that you have to start somewhere, but you also cannot compare your day one to someone else's day 857.
Yeah.
You're not going to take one photo and be like, boom, I made $100,000 this month.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Yeah. And there's months when it's not still.
Learning.
There's learning, there's failing, there's, wow, that did not go well. I shot a whole thing, spent 3 hours to have nothing. Camera stopped recording. I was like, wow. Just
might be there today. This is an experiment. Might be there in a little while.
I was hot, and I couldn't even recover that day. Ooh. I had to tell the brand, I said, you know what? I said, sorry, I've had technical difficulties. I'm gonna have to circle back because I could not recover. I cried so hard because I was just frustrated. I'm like, why would I let myself do this? Why didn't I check the camera?
Yeah.
But it's a lesson. Because now
you check every time.
The viewfinder is up. I need to make sure I see the red dot. You learn lessons from all of these things.
Yeah.
You learn. But if you're trying to skip that and go the road just overnight success, I'm a 36-year overnight success. It took me 36 years to figure out what the hell I was doing and how to do it. Yeah. And it's not overnight. It's not the first year you're in content creation. And there's nothing wrong with making no money. You have to find your passion and purpose and not chase dollars. Because if you start chasing dollars, all the accounts start looking the same. Everybody's doing the exact same thing. So why am I coming to you? How are you an expert when you're just chasing trends? And you can't do that. Because it's not sustainable. You're always going to be looking for what's next instead of, I don't really care. I'm going to do what I want. And either you're here for me and what I have to offer, or you're not.
Because I think the idea of where no one enjoys failure, I have come to look forward to it in the right places, right? That moment of you and recording for 3 hours and not having anything to work with after that fact was a lesson that is better learned early versus late, right?
Yeah.
Versus when there is a brand with a timeline who has already committed you X amount of dollars, and now them and their agency are looking at you and they're saying, where is our content, right? That's not the time to learn that lesson. So there's a blessing in learning those lessons and having those failures at the right moments and what you gain from them. One question, talking about the money, $500,000 last year, $100,000 this year. First question, again, I've said it before. Can I hold something? Can I get something? Okay.
I got you.
That's a no. That sounds like a no, didn't it? That was a nice no.
She said, I got you.
But did she mean it, though?
You saw how quick the response came out?
No, but
the probably has some interest to it.
Right.
A little bit.
The real question now is, how did you do that, right? Because I've worked in social media for years, and I've worked with a bunch of creators, and I've had this question asked of me so many times. How much do I charge, right? What deliverable should I be putting into the pot? Like, what am I giving them? And more than that, it's just the process of knowing how to interact, approach, negotiate, even make the initial contacts. Like, how did you find yourself working with brands? I'm going to make these more complicated, right? Of the money you make, is all of that coming from brands?
All of the money that I make now is coming from brands. The first year when I learned that you could make money on social media, the entire year I made $150,000. And I'd say probably 100 of that was from brands and 50 was from, I started an interior design virtual business helping people through COVID. A lot of offices, a lot of bedrooms. I pivoted away from that more recently just because one, honestly, brand deals were more lucrative. And then the time that it took to help one individual person with a room versus making a video and now 100,000 people can see it, I can help and touch more people. So I think that's part of it. And how did I do it? Like, there's anyone who says, like, I have this secret sauce plan for success. There's so many ways to go about doing the exact same thing. Right. People that I know in the exact same space as me charge varying amounts. Some are higher, some are lower. I think I'm honestly in the middle. I have friends who will say, you need to raise your rates. And I'm like, man, I can't do that. That's a little high. It's a little high. But it was over time. Right. And it's through learning. Right. I think what to charge is having that confidence in yourself. My friend who's also an influencer is like, you don't charge enough. I remember her saying, you need to charge $1,000 per picture. And I said, nobody is about to pay me $1,000 for one photo. It only takes me 10 minutes to take it. She said, it's not about how long it takes you. It's about how long it took you to figure out how to do that in 10 minutes. And all the things that go behind the scenes. You are your own makeup artist, creative director. You're the talent, photographer, videographer. You're all of these things. And you're not negotiating prices with McDonald's when you go. Like, their price is their price. There might be a little wiggle room with a brand partnership, but your price needs to be your price and you need to be willing to stand on it. Yeah. And that's something that comes with time. And honestly, I raised my prices until I heard a no. Every brand partnership, I just went up a little bit because I couldn't get in my head that there was value in what I was doing before a brand was willing to pay for it. I was like, there's no way $1,000 for pictures. I charge way more than that now. Which is why it's still wild to me on paper when I send a quote for a 6-figure deal. And I'm like, they're not giving me $100,000. Like, one brand, they're not giving me $100,000 for pictures and videos. And then they come around and then they say yes. And they're like, well, that was too low. That means if you get a yes off jump, there was more on the table. So you learn from that. And then you say, okay, I'm going to increase it a little bit more until I start getting pushback and until you find that sweet spot. I think it all starts, though, with having quality content and consistently producing for yourself. Yeah. You cannot expect to be paid for something that you're not already doing. That's like going to a job. I mean, unless you're 16. I remember working at IHOP, and they were like, why do you want to work here? I'm like, I just love pancakes so much. You know, you start and you do that. That was my answer, but they hired me. I was like, but I love pancakes so much, so I'm working for food. But beyond that, once you're an adult,
pancakes is lacking though. And pancakes in general.
But you know, I didn't know that then. Right. I didn't know that they were not the pancakes. Right, 16-year-old me, I was like, man, they got all these syrups. Like, this is amazing. Boysenberry, I don't even think it's a thing anymore. But that boysenberry, it was it. But as an adult, you go in and you ask for more money and you command dollars based on your experience. So what experience do you have? We just going off of faith, hope, and dreams. You haven't started posting because you're afraid. You haven't built a clientele or an audience around what you want to do because you're waiting for money to come. Why would I then come pay you to do that? Yeah. So you have to be producing the types of things. And it's like, oh, well, I see you just did that for yourself. Now you can come over here and do it for me. Yeah. And it's that. If it's Instagram, TikTok is a little different, but with Instagram, those first 9 squares that you see plus your bio, that's your resume. I will go to someone's page. They're like, oh, what do you think? I'm like, you don't have a bio at all, so I don't know what you do. So you want me to do hard work. You want me to go through your pictures to figure out what you're here for. Are you here for home decor? But then I see your kids. Are you here for lifestyle? Like, what is it that you're doing? And then we've gotten away from this a lot, but you have an aesthetic that you need to portray this professional image if you want to be paid as a professional. And it doesn't mean everything has to be perfect, picture perfect. For me, it was everything had to have white in it when I started because your Instagram feed was very aesthetic and curated. So if there wasn't white, I had to add something white. So It was a vibe. So glad that we've gotten away from that because it's not natural. But I invested in myself. I invested in camera equipment and not just like an actual camera, but I just made sure in the beginning I had the latest iPhone because it's honestly enough. Right. I booked 5-figure deals with an iPhone. Yeah. And you can't tell me that my pictures weren't good. And I learned how to edit and I would edit on my phone. I didn't pay for software. I didn't have anybody shooting for me or doing any of these things. So you're doing the work up front and then you have the conversation with brands. And when you have the conversation with brands, what I try to tell everybody is you're sliding into DMs or you're doing email. Those are probably one of the 2 ways that you're trying to get a partnership. If you approach it like, I'm so amazing, look at me, you should want to work with me because I have X number of followers. It's like a date. Would you want to go on a date with someone who's like, oh my God, look how amazing I am. Yes, I travel the world and I have all of this money and do you want to date me? Or do you want someone who's like, hey, I see value in you. I want to learn more about you. How can I help you be a better person? So you have to go into brand partnerships like a date to say, I'm going to offer this to you. Here's what you're already doing. Here's what I love, but here's how I can make it better. And having those concrete examples because you've done the work up front to say, hey, I really want to show your product in action. I see that you have a video, but it really doesn't come across what you're looking to do. Or how you want people to use this, or I actually use this in a different way. Do you mind if I show that? And it can expand your reach and your audience base. So coming from a serving perspective instead of self-serving is really, really important. And then delivering. Don't be late. Don't have excuses. Go above and beyond. And that has gotten me so much further than just doing the bare minimum. But I'm an overachiever. Right. So if you ask me for one photo, you ask me for a set of stories, which is typically 3 frames, I'm not going to say, okay, well, I got that one photo. Hey, here's 5 to choose from because it took me 5 extra minutes to do that. Here's 4 or 5 story frames. I want to actually split them up because then it's more authentic for me to introduce the audience to you and then follow up with, here's how I'm still using it. And it's doing those things and building a rapport with people where it's not just, okay, give me my check, bye. That people feel like, and you are truly serving them, and you're trying to make their brand better. You're trying to portray their brand in the best light, and that portrays you in the best light.
Yeah, that's a partnership model.
And that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a true partnership, not a I'm an influencer. Give me your money. I'm going to post this one thing, never to be heard from again.
I think that, well, there are a couple of things, but that model of I'm going to post this one thing, this pay for play thing, I'm seeing it so prevalent in a lot of our spaces on social media, right?
Yes.
There are a bunch of large pages who will jump in your DMs and say, hey, for $30, I'll put up your post. And you pay them $30, they put up your post, and then it's over. And it doesn't create the feelings or the relationship that you're talking about. Because what I heard you say was, not look at me, look how dope I am, but look at how I can help add value to what you're trying to do. So when you knock on a brand's door, you are interested in showing them your unique perspective and why partnering with you and no one else provides a benefit that they can only get through you. Right? For me, it's like a resume. I tell people that when you're creating your resume, you don't just put your job description. You put what you brought to the table that is uniquely you. That by hiring you, they get that, and they can't get that anywhere else. And by the way, they need that. One thing that you talked about was frames. And I know that there's someone listening right now who is intent on learning, and they may be at the beginning steps. But when you said deliver 3, 4, 5 frames, break that down for them. And then I'm going to follow up with that with another question.
So, and you asked me that and I didn't answer, sorry.
You're fine.
On deliverables. Deliverables is this word, and people are like, well, I don't know. What can I deliver? You have to think of what you're best at. Are you best at photography, videography? Are you really good with videography with certain transitions? Are you a good storyteller? Are you great face-to-face on the camera? Do you like meeting people, hosting events, figuring out what you're good at, and then selling those services? For me, that's videography and being able to tell a story in a natural and organic way while still keeping it very professional and polished. I shoot in natural light. I will not shoot at night. If I have to, it's not going to happen because that's not how I feel like things should look. So in looking at that, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, they're all very different, but it either comes down to it's either a photo or it's a video. Stories are a little different because they can be different. They can be a photo frame and it has text overlay. It could be a short video. It used to be 15 seconds. Now one story can be up to a minute. So it really is the same thing as a reel almost. But I think it's important to figure out what you can do well and focusing on that. I'm not going to sell blog posts because I just started my blog. So I'm not going to offer that as a deliverable. I might throw it in for free. Like, hey, I'm just trying to do this based on experience. I can't do YouTube for you because I got 7 followers over there. I can't do it. That's not a service that I can offer. But it's looking at your strengths and pushing those to a brand. But they will also see that. And they'll have campaigns to say, this is what we're looking for. And sometimes it's very straightforward. We want one photo and we want a set of story frames. What's your rate? I always upsell to say, hey, one photo on Instagram really doesn't perform right now. If you're sold on photos, it needs to be a carousel, which is 3 to 5 to me. It can vary. Some people say 4 to 6, but 3 to 5 is kind of the sweet spot. I mean, it's a different price. One photo versus 3 to 5 is a different price. Hey, I'm also on TikTok. Have y'all considered launching a TikTok page? Or I see you're just getting started on there. Video performs a lot better. Would you rather a video that you can post to both platforms and upselling that? Everything, what I've learned and how I've made the most money is everything is a la carte. Nothing is included. And you want to include it all because you feel like the brand is doing you a favor by paying you, but it's marketing. You're a marketer at that point. And if you have a wedding, you're paying your videographer, you're paying your cake person, you're paying the person to put the linens on the table, you're paying the venue, you're doing all of these things. It's not just, oh, you want to have a wedding? Here's just one price. And so you have those prices and you just figure it out along the way. I'm still not sure I'm charging the right amount for usage, which is how you're using my photos and videos. But I feel good about the price that I have. But it does fluctuate. But that's the only thing with the whole influencer content creation area is a lot of people aren't talking about it, so you don't know. You don't know if you're underbidding yourself. You don't know if you're cutting yourself out because your prices are too high. So I think you really just have to stand on what you feel good about. I felt good about $500 when I did it. I thought that I was very lucky that they wanted to pay me $500 to clean and to do something I was already going to do anyways and send me a whole bunch of free stuff that I love, a product that I bought with my own money. So now I don't have to buy it. I'm about to clean my kitchen anyways in my bathroom, and you want to pay me $500 for that? And what people don't talk about is that's okay. Yes, I was taken advantage of because I know something different now. But in that moment, if you feel good about whatever your price is, even if it's $0 and you're getting experience from it, that's okay. It's okay to be at 500. It's okay to be at $0. And then it's okay to learn and grow along the way to say, now I'm not doing that for less than $10,000. I'm not doing that for less than $5,000, whatever that number is.
Yeah. I think one of the most important points in that is you have to start.
You
right?
have to start.
In order to be able to command the larger deals, what you were saying earlier is you basically need a portfolio, and you need the right amount of experience to be able to deliver a product that matches what they're looking for. And then, like, from the monetary side, one of the things I see people doing often, and you just talked about it yourself, and I know you've grown from this point, is questioning your own value. And it's a combination of the value you have intrinsically inside of yourself, the value you've picked up through experience. But there's another level to it. I've been in marketing now for 20 years, and the thing that I see that has happened is these same brands have these huge budgets that they were spending on agencies, and the agencies were getting paid.
Yes.
Right? And now, because of technology and passion and experience, the work you can do as an individual mirrors some of what an agency did with overhead and multiple people. Brands have the dollars, right? And as long as you are doing an amazing job delivering value to them, you understand the KPIs or the key performance indicators that they're after, your value is built in, right? And on top of that, when you talk about upselling, what I heard was a brand will reach out to you and say, we want X, Y, and Z. You consider that brand and their wants, and then your job is to go back and say, I can give you that. But what I think you actually need is this. And this costs this. And the reason why you need this is because of X, Y, and Z. And it will overperform what you want in terms of return on time, return on investment. It will impact clickability and bounce. We can get real technical. There's a bunch of things but I love everything you said. Okay, so one big question that has to be out there is, how did you become this? Right? You were working in corporate America. You were doing something. You had a hobby that you loved and passion. How did you go from where you were to where you are? How did you decide, I'm going to do this more? How did you build that audience? Because everyone's talking about the size of the audience. How did you do that stuff?
A whole lot of tears, a whole lot of fear, and a whole lot of doubt. I went to Spelman, I went to UGA. I got my master's in public administration and health policy analysis, and I went to school to be a health policy analyst. When I graduated, I was a health policy analyst for the federal government. Right. I checked all of the boxes. I have this pension.
How much did they pay you then?
When I left, I was there for 12 years, but I made 6 figures. So I was over 100. So I had a good job. I was not struggling.
I just want people to hear that. Like, you didn't leave a job that paid you. And people, this is not a knock. Somebody makes $30,000 and that's okay. But you didn't leave a job to make $30,000 to do this. You left.
I left
what the hell did I just say? My lips are not fucking working.
Yeah, but everybody translated it though. 6 figures. We caught it.
I don't know what I said. Yes. But you left a 6-figure salary. You left a good job, as they say.
Listen, I left a good job, and my mom had a hard time.
He got a
with
good
it.
job over there. Yeah.
My mom said, okay, you are leaving a job with the federal government where I didn't have to worry about my job during COVID. I was like, we're good. The government is always going to government, and it's always going to be here. I had this job. Nothing's going to change. To go make TikTok videos? And she's like, you're leaving a job, a great job, to make TikTok videos. I'm like, well, when you put it like that, it just sounds bad. But yes, I am. I'm leaving it to bet on myself. So I spent 12 years doing the same thing, feeling like I was in school because I audited every healthcare agency, CDC, all of these places. And I mean, I felt good about it. I was really good at my job. I got promoted. So I'm not stuck. I'm not stagnant at all, but I'm still so unhappy. And I feel ungrateful in the fact of I have this great job. I'm doing exactly what I signed up to do. I'm using my degree, which a lot of people don't do. I went to school for, and I'm doing exactly what I said. I am on the life plan. Right. I'm on the life plan that I set when I was younger. Why am I still miserable? Why am I still unhappy? Why am I unfulfilled? I'm doing the same thing every day. It was very black and white. And I realized that I'm a creative person. Before I said I wasn't because I can't draw a circle to save my life. But I am creative I want to use my mind. I want to use it in different ways. And I love to write. And I was doing that at work, writing reports. But there's a template. There's a way that the government does things. And that's not going to change for anybody.
Yeah.
And so I started feeling stuck. On the side, we had real estate. And I love HGTV. So I want to flip houses. I want to design them. We're doing all of these things. And it's fun. But it's literally just fun. It's to build a legacy for our kids, to leave houses to them so they can say they have something and they don't have to start from nowhere. That's where the design comes from. And I literally were building our house that we're currently in. And I said, I'm seeing on Instagram like these build pages. It's just showing their new build. It's showing how they design it. And it's just fun. So I started it as a creative outlet and a hobby to say, I'm black and white over here. I'm only doing this. I'm doing the government work. But let me share fun things. Starts as a hobby. Then the self-doubt creeps in, imposter syndrome, all these things. Yep. Who am I to share how to save money, how to pick out things at the design center when I'm not a trained interior designer? How dare I? Exactly. How dare I tell people, here's the right way to do things? And so I stopped. I started and I stopped. And I started and I stopped at least 3 times. Then I made a New Year's resolution that it brought me joy. And that alone was enough reason. Like, forget everybody else. I don't have to do it for anyone else. If no one sees my page, that's fine. I had the same 100 followers for the longest time. But then I started showing up for those 100 people like I would want them to show up for me. Like, hey guys, here's what I'm doing today. You go to the design center, you're picking out all these things. Did you know you could build some of this yourself? So we're not going to do this. We're going to save money by doing it on the back end ourselves. And it really was just a hobby, but it was fun. And I felt good about the work that I was doing. I felt like I was providing value. And I started to grow to like 1,000. And it was so, so slow. But I never in a million years said, I want to be an influencer. I want to make money. I want to quit my job. It was just a fulfilling space that I had on the side, a hobby.
I understand that one, boy.
And it was worth it those 2 years of literally just funding it myself because it brought me happiness and joy and got me through feeling stuck and feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then I started making money from it a little bit or getting free things. And I started with free things and I was like, dang, my husband's going to love this because now I don't have to spend our money on home decor. I want to work with brands so that they can give me free things so that I can show it without being broke over here. And that was my goal, was just to get free stuff. So my husband's not checking, like, why are you at Target again? Why is the receipt so long?
Right now, my wife is probably starting to sweat as she listens to this. Because my thing is, why are you at Trader Joe's again?
Oh, I love Trader Joe's and Sprouts.
What are you do? She loves flowers and she does all these flower designs.
Flowers are great because they make you happy when you see them. Fresh flowers in your home, in every room. So you should let her.
So you know I'm going to cut this part out the interview because I don't want to hear that part. This shit is
it's therapy. It's therapy.
I was just in Target last night.
Long walks through Target are also therapy. But it really just started as that. It started as a hobby and then trying to get free things and sharing it with people. And then once I started getting paid, I'm like, wow. And then I looked at friends who were in the fashion space. And to me, I'm like, well, everyone in fashion is making money. You get paid for wearing the clothing and motherhood as well. These were established lanes where people were already making a lot of money. People that I trust, and I knew they weren't flexing, and they were legitimately making a career and an income from it. And I said, I wonder if I could do that in home decor in a time when nobody that I knew around me was doing that. And what if I didn't accept the free sofa? What if I said, well, what's your budget for this?
Gave you a free sofa?
Yeah. You can get a free couch.
What the fuck are we doing wrong?
Right.
You got no goddamn free sofa.
Right.
But you get the free couch. Wow. But instead saying, well, what's your budget? And the first time in doing that, a brand be like, oh, well, our budget is $1,500. You're like,
Did you mean
$1,500 and you're going to give me a couch? And you want me to just show me using it how I was already going to use it?
Let's go.
And it started with that. But that was the cleaning for me.
Yeah.
She literally sent me, I'm working for cleaning products. I said, you send me all the cleaning stuff. I'm going to clean anyways. And that's
what is
it.
wrong with my mouth? Shit's not coming. Sorry. It's not fucking working today. I told you it's going to be that day. Oh, I'm sorry. Go back. Cleaning products, Shazam, comment.
Yes.
I'm with you.
So I'm getting cleaning products, working for cleaning products, and I'm happy with it. And then she says, we want to do a partnership with you. What's your rate? And I'm freaking out. I'm like, I don't have a rate. A rate of what? And you Google it, you try to figure it out. 2 years ago, there was nothing. Influencer marketing was not a thing. And I'm literally like, I just throw out a number. I'm like, nah, it's too high. I said 1,000. I was like, nah, it's too high. It's too high. So I said 500, and I'm sweating. I send it, and I'm just like, she gonna say no, and we're not gonna do it.
Said yes, so
and I was
fast.
So fast. And now looking back,
she don't know what she talking about. Yes,
got me. Yeah,
she got me. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's
needed,
someone else to say, hey, you can get paid for this. And learning that, and then asking brands here and there, still getting free stuff, still working for free things, because I think now to command $100,000 in 1 month, to have one partnership that's $50,000, I could not have done that 2 years ago. I would have fumbled the bag so hard because I didn't know what I didn't know. And learning and growing and failing and be like, okay, well, I can't shoot that way. I need to do it this way for it to make sense. This is what goes over with my audience. Those are things you get through experience and time, and you have to work up to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think jokingly saying they took advantage of you for 500, there is a lot of comedy in that, because you weren't ready for anything more at the time.
I was not.
You needed to learn what this road was in order to find yourself in the place you are now.
The best lesson to over-deliver. And I didn't know I was over-delivering then, but I was. For $500, 25 images, and just all of these things, like so much. Learning then what Getty Images was, and to figure out how much a photographer would sell an individual image for, and just starting at a baseline, because nobody's talking to me. Nobody's telling me prices or rates or anything. I'm literally winging it.
Yeah.
And just learning and asking people and building a community of people who are doing something similar to you, who may be further in their journey. And when you have those people who are willing to share, and it's collaboration over competition, that's how you win. So in those people, and I'm so grateful to them to say, hey, you should probably charge more. I charge more. Here's what my price is. Here's how I do it. And learning from that and sharing, like, okay, well, here, sharing context and literally just trying to help each other in this space. But it's literally just been growing and learning every day. Every day something new comes up. Contracts and terminology. And I'm like, what is this? This is different. Stepping into new spaces, doing commercials and spokesperson roles. Every time it's something new, and you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be, if I am a spokesperson for somebody 20 years from now, it's not going to be the same price. It's not going to be the same, terminology and contracting that I'm signing then. But there's value in that experience and starting.
Yeah.
So if you think about the trajectory of this interview, we talked about, income and potential income. We talked about how you got started. And what I'm trying to do is I'll make sure I answer the large questions along the way. So by now, the listeners are thinking, okay, she made $100,000 last month. She got started this way. How many followers do you have today? That's got to be the next question.
So to date, I have 158,000 on Instagram, and I have 252,000 on TikTok, and like 1,000 on Facebook, and I think 7 on YouTube, because I'm just on YouTube, and YouTube is humbling me quite quickly.
Yeah. So you mentioned having 100. How long ago was that?
100,000?
No, 100 followers, sorry.
100 followers. So I started in 2018. Okay. And I think my mom and my husband and myself from my personal page were the only people following me. And then I just started engaging with people who were accounts that I aspired to be. And
what does that mean? Because we hear that a lot. What does that mean to you?
Engaging is showing up for people the same way you want them to show up for you. There are free ways to support people who are content creators and who are just individuals. You can like, share, comment, or save their posts. And those analytics matter, especially when this is your full-time job. A like is great. A comment is great. The most value is when you share, when you say, this is good enough not only for me to save for myself, but I think other people need to see this. That's engagement. So I started doing that for other people to say, oh my gosh, I love how you styled that. How did you do this? And just showing up and building friendships online, and then started to grow that way. One thing that I wish I knew about followers then that I know now, and I know no one believes me because I have this K, right? So I have these 400,000 plus followers. It's hard to say followers don't matter coming from me. But I wish that someone had told me that I didn't have to wait until I got 10,000 followers to start charging for brand partnerships. I didn't have to wait until then when I do this and when I get that. First it was 10,000. And then it was once I get to 25 or once I get to 50. When I hit 100, I'm finally going to do this. If I had started before I put this invisible benchmark in my head, I'd be so much further along. I could have made so much more that first year if I believed that I didn't have to have 10,000 to do it.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend who has 2,000 followers, and she had a 6-figure year last year. 2,000 followers. Because
Crazy,
one,
man.
you can post on your own page,
Right.
and you can post with your audience. Her engagement is through the roof, meaning I did. I didn't know what that was. I did.
That sound like a car.
I ain't ate nothing today because I've been going. Sorry.
You've been gone.
Mm-hmm.
I told you this is a very natural.
That's what's going on with
stuff.
your lip then.
Maybe that's what it
Your
is.
lip
You're
is saying,
hungry.
hey, I'm hungry.
You got water. That's not enough. You need some orange juice.
Right.
Amen. I'm sorry,
some sugar.
Ashley.
I think that starting before you are ready.
Serious.
This shit about to beat. Yeah.
That wasn't me. That was a motorcycle. I don't want y'all
I heard
looking
it. I
at me.
heard it.
Okay.
I heard it.
I keep interrupting her flow. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine. So I think starting before you think you're ready is so important.
Yeah.
And there's value in that if you have 2,000 followers, but they are ride or die followers,
Yeah.
and you have your comments, your amount of because now everybody can link things. It used to be, it kind of was a little hard. There was a benchmark of you needed to hit 10,000
Yep.
because you needed to have the swipe up link. You couldn't sell anything in your stories before
Yep.
then.
I remember
But now everybody can link things. So you have 2,000 moms who ride for you and will buy anything you say because they know that you're going to tell them honestly how you feel about the product. They know you're going to be up on the latest and greatest because you want that for your kids. You're just as valuable as someone who has 1 million followers, but they can't get 100 t-shirts sold. Who has more value?
Yeah.
And then now, and they've given it a term, but user-generated content creator.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you're a UGC creator, and it's really big on TikTok. And what I implore people to do is please don't buy a course. You don't need to buy a course to be a UGC creator. You literally just need to do the thing and just create content. There's no method or science behind it. What you're doing is you're creating valuable content for brands to use on their pages.
Yep.
So if I have 5 followers, it doesn't matter because that brand who has 100,000 or 4 million, they want to use it. They want to see somebody shopping in the store or feeding their dog treats. You're basically doing organic commercials at that point.
Yep.
And you can charge for that. So her first year, which was the year before last, she did 100,000. And last year she did 220.
Mm.
And she quit her job and she stays at home with her kids and then she does that. And it's the most amazing thing. And she's like, I don't care if I grow. I don't necessarily want to post it on my page. She's an actress and a videographer, essentially. So you're paying for those services because what we've done is we've eliminated, like you said, the ad agencies and this middleman. You can come straight to me. I'm the videographer. I'm the set designer. I am the stylist, the makeup artist, and the talent. So you're actually saving money by coming to me as one person instead of having to go through these different channels.
You bring up a good point. So from a team perspective, from where you start to where you are now, like talk about your team. And what I mean by team here is actually, I think we kind of talked about this beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference in you being your videographer and your script writer and your editor. But as you grow in a business, like maybe you need an accountant and an attorney. So talk about your team as you've grown.
Grown.
As you've grown. Talk about your team. Listeners, hey, you know how it is sometimes. Talk about the team you've built as you've grown through this process.
So I started shooting by myself on my iPhone. Then I started using my husband, who is freakishly talented at everything he does. So he can do graphic design, videography, and all this.
Come
so
on,
he
husband.
would self-shoot for me.
Husbands are amazing.
Husbands are amazing.
We happen to be husbands.
And I love it.
Amazing.
Because showing up for your
husbands.
spouse, black husbands.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, black men.
Yeah, we in there.
Showing up for your spouse and supporting them. Like he put the first 20,000 into my business, which it was used in an unusual way. It was funding stuff that we put in our house, but I had to decorate and do things in a certain way so that I could showcase it. But he's like, no, this is important to you. I believe in you. We're going to set aside this money when we move in, and this is what we're going to do to help you launch. So it started with just me and him.
You got any of them 20,000s laying around now?
I don't know. I need a little bit more. But it started with that, and then realizing that delegation is the key to success, and that I can't DIY everything.
Ooh, I've struggled with that one, boy.
It's hard because you feel like nobody is going to do things or care as much about your baby and your stuff as you do. But you have to let that go or you burn yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm answering emails all in the middle of the night. I'm like not present with my kids, trying to be the assistant, the videographer and editor and doing all of that. And then also being the talent and engaging, showing up online, trying to launch another platform. It was a lot. And there were a lot of tears behind that.
Yeah.
And I realized, okay, this is a whole new space. I know nothing about running my own business. I need help.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was got a CPA.
Yeah.
And Nicole saves lives out here. She really does, because she has taught me things that otherwise I wouldn't know. Like, I didn't know you had to pay quarterly business taxes. And I know you can find that on TikTok. And TikTok tells you got to buy a car in your business name. You got to do all these things. But having someone who that's what they do and that's their job hits completely different.
Life-saving. It's different.
And for me to sit and try to do my taxes now, I'm like, I don't even know where I would start.
Correct.
It's like, hey, you need to be an S Corp. At the level that you're at, you no longer need to be an LLC. I would have been an LLC forever. So what is an S Corp? I'm going on Google, looking it up, but having a CPA. And then more recently, it's been a lawyer, because
these contracts.
A lawyer would have been very helpful to me early on, at least having a conversation, because when you're talking usage and exclusivity and your name and likeness and all of these things, not knowing what they mean, it's very hard.
Did you have to learn what derivative rights were?
Yes.
Yeah.
But some of that I already knew, because I wanted to be a lawyer. So I was really into like contract law and stuff like that in college. And even in grad school, I was like, okay, am I going to go to law school or am I not? And I just didn't want to take on the excess funding. But without some of the knowledge that I already had, it would have been very overwhelming. But once I got into a new space of looking at TV deals and being a spokesperson for brands long-term and things like that, and I'm seeing these contracts come in, I'm like, this is a lot of money, but what am I signing over?
Yep.
What's out there? And learning things that I know now through having a team of people who are like, no. We're going to X all of this out. Name and likeness. Now, I mean, the best advice I can give someone is you have to treat yourself like you're Beyonce. Not saying we're Beyonce, because Beyonce is Beyonce. But
like that, I'm Beyonce.
If you don't treat yourself like Beyonce, if Beyonce gave away her name, the rights to her name and likeness to McDonald's when she was 18 years old, and so they still can use her on a billboard. She don't even eat McDonald's. She might be a vegan at this point. They can do whatever they want. You sign away that, but now she's Beyonce. Are we all going to be or even aspire to be at that level? Maybe not. But if you don't treat yourself like that, you're going to give up so much along the way. There is a commercial, it's an ad on Pinterest that runs every single fall because I signed it over in perpetuity. This is a brand that I do work with now. And so I asked them, I said, how much do you spend on like ad spend to run this ad? She said, we run for $500,000 and we get probably over $1 million per fall season from your ad, which is why we keep coming to you. But that, what did I get from it? $1,200.
You needed the Jason Weaver approach then, the money he got from the Lion King.
Yep. And it was fine because it was one of the first brands that worked with me, but it was a great ad for them. And it's timeless and evergreen in the sense of every single fall, boom, here we are, we're trying to sell it. I see it so much. People are like, you're this girl, you work with this brand. And that's kind of what I was known for a while because they put so much money behind it on Pinterest. I gave them the rights to do it on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook. So no matter where you go.
And you were just happy at the time to do it.
Just grateful out here.
But that's learning, right?
And it is.
Learning and growth. And it's needed.
And it's interesting because the relationship that you built actually gives you insight into what they do with the content that you created, right? Like,
she said, this is great.
That's amazingly valuable to like where you go next.
Ask questions there.
Yeah. Because I know that that's not necessarily normal, but it really came behind hey, we want you to recreate this, but for a spring version. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just curious. And now I created a video 2 years ago, and every year I get paid for it because they have to pay me for usage. So I haven't done anything new. I got the same braids 2 years ago, exact same hairstyle. And them braids gonna live on forever, but every time you want to use it, you gotta pay me.
Every time.
And you hear residuals and royalties and you think it's for TV and movies, but it's for social media too. Every time you want to see my face doing something, you have to pay me. And that's not me being snobby about it or feeling like I'm a lead or anything. It's business. Because guess what? You're gonna charge me every time I want to buy something from you. You're not just like, oh, we'll just give it to you for free this time because you've been here before.
And the thing to remember is when they're running that, they're getting a return on that. And
That's
if
why
they
they're running
weren't,
it.
they wouldn't be
Yeah.
running it.
Yeah.
Right? It would be done. If your face in whatever ad that was not creating an impact, it would be in somebody's drive.
Every fall.
And be like, and we're done.
It's like,
Every
that works.
single
If
fall.
you make new money, I should make new money. But
Absolutely.
you have to learn those lessons.
You have to learn, and you have to learn you can charge. You have to learn that you need to shorten these terms so that when it does deliver, because you've over-delivered, that they have to come back to you again like, hey, that worked for us really well the past 6 months. Can we do it again? Oh, absolutely. Here's my rate for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you get out of the personal feeling of feeling like you're nickeling and diming because you're not doing it to another person. You're not doing it to a friend. You're doing it to a business who has a budget. And that budget has ad and marketing dollars, and that's what you're a part of. It's not a hobby. Once you decide that you want to go beyond it being a hobby, I do lots of things for fun, and I love that I can work with brands, and that can fund all of the other things that I can do for my audience, and it's free. And I don't have a course that I'm selling, and I'm not charging them to subscribe for anything because I have this pot over here that makes me money so that I can continue to provide this valuable service for people regardless of where they are and if they want to spend with me. And I love that. But it's learning along the way and being comfortable in the fact that you have a journey and you have a story, and you cannot go out expecting to just be on someone's day 800 when you're on day 1.
Yeah. I love that. I love the way you break that down. Listen, we're toward the end of the episode, and I want to ask you this question. I normally ask people to give their advice or whatnot, and I want to tweak it a little bit. I don't want you to give advice to all the people listening. I want you to give advice to you from 3 years ago. Right? What would you tell yourself as you sit in this seat today that you really, really needed to know then? What would you tell yourself differently?
What would I tell myself differently? I think I would tell myself to do it anyways, to be afraid and to acknowledge that fear, but to press into it and to know that I have value and I can take up space, even on the internet, even in making home decor and DIY videos, and that there's nothing wrong with learning from others and being afraid to do something, but still doing it anyways. Because in doing, you learn so much about yourself, what you like, what you don't like, what works, what doesn't work, but you never get there from fear and from wishing and from dreaming and hoping for a different life and hoping something changes or something's better. You literally have to take action.
I love that. Listen, end of the episode, we always hand the mic over to our guests to share how people can engage with you, how they can follow you. You already gave them a great word. If you've got anything else you want to share, now's the time. The floor is yours.
So if you want to be a part of my community and my friends, you can join me on Instagram or on TikTok at Alexander Renee Design. You can also follow me on my website, and it's alexanderrenee.com. I did just launch, for everybody that's been asking, a free influencer course. It's an email course, so that has launched on March 1st, and that's available to anybody. You don't even have to follow me. You could literally go to my website and say, I want to do this. What did you get out of it? And I want to pour into people so they know that they can get started. So there's a free influencer course if someone's interested in being an influencer content creator. And then if you're just looking for how to design your space, because I'm not doing that anymore, I'm not having that hands-on, I've created a design guide where people can go and know and feel empowered to design and create the home of their dreams. So it's about creating the life and the home that you deserve, but you have to take action. You have to be willing to push through fear to do that. You have to be willing to take risks and know that success is on the other side of all of your hard work.
Love it. I love it. Art, brother, you got anything?
Amazing. Extremely insightful and knowledgeable about this space. I think this is probably going to be one of the most listened to and viewed episodes.
Absolutely. Listeners, I talk about dreaming a lot. And I don't know if this is your dream or not, but what I do know is you have one. And although we were talking about creating content and building brand partnerships, those are the words we used. But what we were really talking about is how do you create a new avenue for yourself to access the dreams that you have inside. So as you go back and you re-listen to this episode, I hope you find the inspiration that you need to move through the fear and to find yourself in a new space that allows you to create a level of success that you've probably only dreamed about. Faith and fear can never be bedfellows. So kick one of them out and find your way to this new place. And when you get there, let me hold some. Peace. We out.
Bars.
So